Hello, welcome back. This is Jacob, and today we are going to be beginning the narration and character voice acting for the Retracing Our Steps story. Alright then everybody, time to start venturing into our third installment in the Kjerag storylines. And yeah, this is definitely going to be shaping up to be the usual type of third installment. Big stuff happening, and potentially also big reveals down the line, but we are gonna have to keep on going through that through the story itself to see how much stuff they're gonna be revealing. But yeah, this is gonna be once again a very big story, a story that has been built up with two previous stories, and a couple of other elements obviously also have their presence here. But if I would be to prime you guys before we head into this story with anything, I would say this story is, or could be probably summarized as a clash between multiple ideologies and ways of life. Pretty much you have modernity versus tradition, you have science versus religion, and you have politics in the mix, and I guess you have created social media. But bad jokes aside, yeah, this is definitely a hodgepodge of multiple things that are coming to ahead in this story, and a lot of that stuff was set up with the previous two stories, with the RHINE story of Lone Trail, and of course elements that happened in the Act 2 of the main story with the Dukes in Victoria. So, before we are heading into our story, I would also like to recommend to, at least for people who have not had the chance yet to go through the previous two stories in the Kjerag storyline, to go through those before continuing with this one. Like I just said, pretty much a lot of stuff has been set up with the previous two stories, with Break the Ice, which was the first one, and the second one, which was Ride to Lake Zilbenehatze, and now we are here essentially. Especially the second one has set up the events for this story very well, and we're pretty much just gonna be some short while, some probably years after that one continuing, short years that is, continuing after that one. And yeah, it shows quite a lot. But yeah, outside of that, we have also Lone Trail, like I just mentioned, with the RHINE story, and why RHINE is even here in Kjerag to begin with, and why they're building a laboratory on top of a mountain. And like I said, the Dukes, or specifically as seen in the menu right here, the Duke of Castor, which obviously she has her own reasons to be here, and a lot of that is pretty much privy to the main story, Act 2, and what happened in Londinium. Pretty much everything gets explained over there, why the Dukes would have such an interest to expand and invest themselves into different regions and different countries. But yeah, a lot of stuff is coming here to a head, like I said, and for those of you who have missed all of that stuff and didn't have time yet to go through all of those stories, in the description of this very video you can find pretty much all the playlists. The Kjerag playlist is separate, and then you have Lone Trail, and of course the main story, so if you have anything to catch up with, just pick one and head through it. It's gonna be a journey. But for everybody else, let's head into the story. But before I forget, a very quick apology. This episode, usually the first episodes for these new stories, I pretty much have out very quickly after the event goes live, but this one got delayed because of, well, the reasons of me working on the current main story as well, as in chapter 16. So apologies for the delay. I will try and have all of these episodes out before the event is over. And I will definitely put my back into it, because the event is very quickly approaching the end. We're already like more than halfway through, so yeah, I'm gonna put some work into it. And also speaking of the main story, this story is also taking place in the year 1101, as indicated here by the menu, as you guys might be able to see right under the title of Retracing Our Steps. And because of that, I do not know right now, at least the beginning will not be touching upon anything that has happened in episodes 15 and 16. So in the future episodes, just like I did prior with the Laterano story, which was the latest one being the Masses Travel, if there's gonna be anything here like major spoiler wise for the main story, I will give you guys a primer and a quick heads up before heading into a new episode, so you guys will be aware. So for those who don't want to get spoiled, you'll be quickly warned, and you can return back to this or anything else later in the playlist once you are caught up with the other stuff. But anyway, let us begin. So, in our first part today, we're gonna be covering the story all the way from the introductory cutscene of course, to the end of stage 2. So, let's begin with our intro cutscene, OSST 1. Landslide. And she said, henceforth you shall walk the path forward alone. Also, before I click into the story, I hope I'm not the only one who heard the sentence in their head for the first time already right now. If you're listening to it for the first time right now and thought to myself, Heidelin, is that you? Why are we referencing Final Fantasy XIV? Sorry. Anyway, let's begin. I believe you're wrong, sir. Victoria may be the strongest nation on Terra for now, but there is no guarantee that such prosperity will last forever. We are all familiar enough with the history of Victoria's 4 golden decades, nourished by the legacy of Gaul. Times have changed, however, but Victoria's productivity advantages eroded, and her ambition to expand went unsated. The cracks of eternal strife began to emerge beneath the surface. The last king attempted to mediate between the factories and the merchants, but failed to propose a new path out of the dilemma. His end was inevitable. The same was demonstrated by the coup in Lethanian not long after, who emerged as the victor of the bloody struggle. No, it has been more than a decade since they hanged the Lord of Lions, but the repercussions of the coup linger to this day. The wheat of Britain, the River Mercery incident. Have the Dukes been able to set aside their conflicts for even a moment this past decade? Everyone believes they will emerge the better for the struggle. Not one believes they're digging Victoria's grave together. If we do not see change soon, an intensifying civil war will be what defines Victoria in this new era. I heard that a most eloquent young man stole the show today. One would be forgiven for mistaking you for today's headliner. I meant no offense, Your Grace, Duke of Castor. I'd hoped to make the acquaintance of more people of wisdom at your manor, but I confess I find myself disappointed. Do you consider yourself worthy of a position as a Duke's advisor? Or even the Speaker of Parliament, then? Anyone can point out the ills that plague this nation. Curing it, however, calls for the proper means. A stroke of luck, even. It seems that I am hardly the one who should be worrying about these things, though. What do you think? Huh. I remember your mother. You have inherited none of her humility or courtesy, but all of her boldness and irreverence. Enciores. You would hardly have found time for a distant relative from a distant land, if I had not caught your attention this way. It was a rather inflammatory speech, but far from being enough to lay a foundation. Many young lads have visited this house intending to make their names amongst the guests, so as to enjoy the adoration of others in high society. How do I know you're not one of them? I have little interest in becoming a guest of honor at the banquets of Victorian nobility. I simply bring a modest proposal. The resources of Kjerag and the industry of Castor complement each other perfectly. There is potential for equal cooperation. I am building Kjerag's first transnational trading company, and I would like to extend an invitation. Equal? Equal. In 30 years, the name Kjerag will lie on the lips of all the nations of Terra. We have nothing to lose and everything to gain from cooperation between our two lands. I commend your courage, but I doubt you have the means to make such a promise, child. You will assent. As a consummate and visionary politician, you are well aware of the dilemma that Victoria faces. Or should I say, the Duchy of Castor faces. You would not lightly dismiss any measure that could improve the situation, however slim the chance. The fact that I stand before you now is proof enough that I am worth investing in. Be thankful you are young enough that I can forgive your impudence. Answer me then, young visionary, with your wit and guile. How does a country that has yet to adopt the Originium Circuit plan on becoming a name on the lips of all the nations of Terra? Your doubts are well-founded. Industry and technology are certainly important, but for a nation there are other things that are even more important. To be frank, the particular nature of Victorian politics may have clouded your eyes to the potential of a united nation. I believe... And she stood upon the highest peak, pointed to the lake in the distance, and spoke. Remember the path you walked, and let not yourself forget. Fear the blizzard that is yet to come, and let not yourself be arrogant. Clutch your bows and arrows, pickaxes and hoes tight, and let not yourself be careless. Love your brothers and sisters, love your neighbors and friends, and love the rocks and hills, the grass and trees, as you would love your own siblings. Heed these words, and no calamity shall befall you, and your home and heart will be safe forevermore.
Saintus, it's almost time.
Have the doctors not found a way?
For years, the finest doctors of Kjerag and Victoria tried everything they could think of to purge the poison from the Great Elder. In the end, it is not illness that takes him, but time.
I see. May I see him?
Of course. Please, deliver him in Kjeragander's name.
Enya gently pushes the door open. The dying man's chest barely moves as he lies on the bed. He seems to hear the sound and cocks his ear with great effort before opening his mouth meekly.
Enya, is that you?
Great Elder, how are you feeling? Would you like some water?
No. Listen to me, Enya.
What is your wish?
This day has been too long in coming. Do you think that this day has been too long in coming?
Of course not. You taught me many things.
You have done well, but I was a poor teacher, a poor elder. I was not even a pious child of Kjeragander.
Great Elder?
I haven't heard Kjeragander's voice for many years. I prayed day and night, recited the scriptures over and over, but she never answered my I was lost. I was afraid. But I had to keep going. I thought if Kjeragander's will was to protect her people, it was not against her will to act in such a way. I wanted to strengthen divine bide court's authority. I wanted to hear the hearts of Kjerag to be united and firm. But I erred in many ways.
One can lie to a man, but no one can deceive Kjeragander. She sees all that we do. She knows all our errors and our repentance.
I know. I believed. But a long time passed. And I thought that I had not been punished by Kjeragander. And so I stopped believing until last night. Kjeragander came to me in a dream. She did not reproach me. She simply walked in front of me, leading me to the lake whose surface was like a mirror. And she said, all the rivers shall converge upon this place. And then I knew my time was up. I want to repent. I must repent, but it's too late for me. Enya, tell me, honestly, do you still hear Kjeragander's voice?
Her followers must listen carefully to her teachings at all times. The noise of the land may deafen our ears to her voice, and the wind and snow blind our eyes to her teachings. But remember always that she is good, and those who forsake her walk on the wrong path. It is harder to be good than evil, to forgive than to hate, to be humble than to be proud. Those who tread this path must know it is a treacherous one, but those who stray from it shall find it even harder to return. Stop making all that noise, Yucatan. Since when are you as restless as Kjerag? I'm sorry, Matriarch, but I just can't help myself at a time like this. There's nothing I can do for her but pray. Oh, it's so easy. You and Kjerag. She's my younger sister and the future brown-tailed matriarch. A little thing like this should be no trouble at all. That idiot's in excellent health. You remember how she sneaked out to climb Mount Jungfrau when she was 8 and ended up breaking her leg when she fell? They thought she'd never walk again. In 2 months she was running and jumping around like nothing ever happened. No one gave it a second thought. Are we really sure there were no lingering effects? No, of course there wouldn't be. It was so long ago and the doctors say she's healthy as a burden beast. But can those Victorian doctors really be trusted? Have their heads if anything happens to my stupid sister. God for dummy, it's been 4 hours! Why haven't they come out yet?
Matriarch, report from Captain Monk.
Shut up! Don't bother me, whatever it is!
Understood.
Let's take a deep breath, Matriarch. Kjerag will protect us. She's the gentlest woman I've ever met. Who would Kjerag watch over if not her? You're right. You're right. Kjerag. Oh, Kjerag, hear my prayer. I'm hardly the most pious of Kjerag's people, but now I muster all my piety in the hopes that Kjerag will grant this one favor. If Clan Browntail must be punished for our past transgressions, let all that punishment fall upon me. I will accept your anger, your wrath. But please, spare my foolish sister. By Kjerag. Dear travelers, please note the train KT-392, departing from Lake Zilbanehatze, bound for Rick Pass, will be delayed by 1 hour due to inclement weather. Kjerag Rail sincerely apologizes for the inconvenience. Please speak to a staff member at the information desk if you require assistance. Are Victorian trains ever not late? Looks like they've rubbed off on Kjerag Rail. It's just a little wait. Frankly, I'd rather stay here for a while longer than deal with those investors back home. At least I have good system milk here for free. Ooh. But inclement weather, they say. Doesn't look like it's snowing. What's the hurry? The trains aren't running. Sorry, excuse me. Wait a minute. I've seen this trick before. You're a pickpocket, aren't you? Stop right there. Let me make sure you didn't steal anything. The woman breaks free of the hand grabbing her shoulder and runs in the direction of the crowd, vanishing into a sea of people. Huh? Hey! Somebody help! Thief! Did you lose something, ma'am? My purse, jewelry, terminal... Huh? Everything seems to be... here. But that one, Probably some unfortunate soul trying to get on without a ticket. I told you, this is pious Kjerag, not post-war Londinium. No one's after your purse. By Kjerag. Does trying to arrive without a ticket get you hunted down by warriors in Kjerag? Found you. Madame Caroline of RHINE Lab. I know who you are and what you've done. Come quietly, unless you want everyone under the sun to know. Divine Beat Court will grant you a fair and impartial trial. First, give me what you're holding. The woman silently clutches the folder in her arms and thinks for a moment before crying out without warning. Run! Run! There's a bomb in the station! The crowded station quickly descends into chaos at the woman's cry. The creator of the chaos once again disappears into the crowd. Damn! Russ, so glad you're alright. How are they? The children? Perfectly fine. Your sister's taking care of them. Rest now, and don't worry about the thing. Yucatan, there were a few times where I thought that I was going to see Kjerag.
Every little bad thing that I ever did came flashing back before my eyes. Even that time when I climbed that tree to steal foul beast eggs when I was 8. What would Kjerag punish me for?
She already punished you, remember? The time you spent 2 months in bed. Don't worry about it, Russ. We made it through so much. Now we've got another reason to keep going. We have to see Oak and Barry grow up. Kjerag won't separate us.
Yucatan, is it snowing outside? It's a little cold.
I'll add some firewood and get you another blanket. Sleep well, Russ. The winter will pass, and we can go and see the flowers by the lake when spring comes. All of us, together. Skurus closes her eyes and falls asleep quietly. It should be a moment of happiness. But Yucatan feels a rock in his heart. He looks outside. The clouds are thick and heavy, but the snow refuses to fall. This kind of weather is rarely seen in Kjerag. Maybe we're in for a cold winter this year, Yucatan thinks. When the winter passes...
She is omnipresent. She cannot be sought. We need not question her existence. She is there when we choose to follow her. Do you remember this from the scriptures?
No, this is not how it should be. If she is omnipresent and cannot be sought, then who hears her will, and who...
You should rest, Great Elder. Don't let yourself suffer.
I see it, Anya. I see unprecedented calamity descending upon Mount Garland. I see Originium bringing ruin to the land. I see her abandoning Kjerag.
Caught up in a bout of excitement, the old man stares outside a window, his face warped and twisted, seemingly seething in anger or engulfed by a terror that defies description. He raises his withered arms, trying to grasp something, only for them to fall back down meekly. Finally, he quiets down, as though he has expended the last sliver of strength he had.
Great Elder.
Anya, say a prayer for me. In the final chapter of Kjerag.
And all the rivers shall converge upon this place at the end of it all. And you shall walk the path forward alone. And the path you shall walk lies beneath your feet. She sighs as she speaks the words. She turns around and disappears in the wind and snow from whence she came.
You have no hope of escape. The people of Kjerag know the wind and snow better than any outsider. Your arts are not effective here. We don't want to damage our relationship with the RHINE lab. Otherwise, I would keep you here by any means necessary to retrieve the military secrets that you stole. I'm not carrying your military secrets. I have no reason to believe you. You don't understand. Don't understand what? You don't understand what these data mean. How long do you think your god will protect you? You can't talk your way out of this! Wait. What's with the clouds? Run!
The avalanche struck in an instant. A loud crack moved the mountains that had remained dormant for many years. Snow poured down the slopes, mixed with rocks and black crystals, and all creation was obscured by grey and white. The mountains trembled, the echoes lingered in the valley. Few could comprehend what had just happened. It was the first catastrophe in history to strike this place. After many years, decades, and even centuries, Kjerag is finally experiencing its very first big catastrophe. And of course, what else would a catastrophe manifest itself in Kjerag than than a freaking avalanche? A big avalanche that just pulverizes everything in its sight. But yeah, that is definitely the first ever catastrophe in these lands after so many years. And as you might be imagining, something like that in a land that is very pious and everything, yeah, that's gonna have some trigger effects on people. And what those are gonna be and how they're gonna be manifesting, we're gonna see in the following cutscenes. But outside of that, they have bebes. They have the floof. Sorry. But yeah, I'm sure you're gonna see it in the clip section later down the line. But yeah, Yucatan and Scutus finally have children of their own, and twins! They have little bebes! They have two of them at once! Man, that is quite a big step for these two. And again, I don't know what it is specifically with these two. I actually question, because I know that there is a lot of people who love these two NPCs specifically, like I do. So for those in the same boat as me, what do you specifically love about these two? Because I just like them for their relationship and how they are, how they're interacting with each other. I find it very endearing and fun to watch these two just floof about. But I don't know. I like them since the very first story. I like them all the way since Break the Ice, and I'm always happy to see these two. And now they have two bebes. The floof, it's spreading. And I guess we can now legally call Ratatos an aunt. I'm sure she would be happy when people take the piss out of that. But yeah, they have kids and it's very adorable. But before we continue with our next cutscene, there is some red text that I skipped over here at the beginning, which is very hard to read, by the way. I did write myself this thing out because, good God, zooming by going to the screen to just read what is there. Arknights, why? This is not the first time. But anyway, the red text here on screen says, "Rivers fed by snow melt flow ever towards Lake Zilbenehatze, nourishing the heart that never freezes." Pretty much a excerpt from one of the probably from the book of Kjerag. But yeah, we're gonna get more of that later down the line. But the next one I'm gonna show you later is gonna be not legible until the story's gonna progress. But yeah, anyway, we move on with the story to the training stage, which does not have anything in it story-wise outside of teaching us about the mechanics. But the stage itself is titled First Snow. Nobody could have predicted what would happen when the first snow fell. You can say that again. And then we move on to our first stage itself, titled Amidst the Wailing. The wailing foul beasts continue to circle above the snow, heralding news of death. More misfortune is still on its way. Team Alpha, drop your supplies in the east side clearing. Set up medical tents in conjunction with the Pale Roach reinforcements and be ready to receive wounded. Right. Team Bravo, take your shovels and vineskins and look for survivors in the ruins of the train station. Be thorough and keep your ears open for any cries.
Alright, team, grab your gear and follow me.
Try not to make too much noise. We could still be looking at a second avalanche. A team is on its way to investigate the mountains. Trust our people, and trust in Kjerag's protection.
By Kjerag. By Kjerag.
By Kjerag. Time's a wasting. Get moving.
Yes, sir.
Before the voices disperse on the cold wind, the servants of Clan Silverash are already on the move, spreading out to the snow, in every direction. They are not the only ones here. The white tide has torn a gash in the peace.
Over here, this one's alive.
Hang in there. You're a son of Kjerag. You can take it.
My leg. I can't move my leg. My leg is... Ah!
Don't move. Someone in the back, report.
We dug a hole, but his leg is pinned under a steel girder. We can't get it out. Other way, we'll need a surgeon to... no. Try to dig it open a little bit more. Okay. Good news, the girder's already broken. All we need to do is lift it up.
All we need is a little elbow grease. Over here, all hands on deck. Hold tight. 1, 2, 3.
It hurts.
We got a gap. Pull him out now.
I got him. Take it easy. Lift him up and put him on the tarp. Careful not to pull the wound open. Slowly, carefully. Got it! Stretcher! Out of the way, stretcher coming through.
Suppressed, restrained cries, rescues, stretchers, survivors. The rescuers run back and forth on the white snow, their faces red with exertion, hot sweat dripping on the snow. Take over for me, Gula. Save every soul you can. Right. But where are you going, sir? Sir Arctos, is rescue work in the south already done? No, not yet. Gula's overseeing it. I came to find you. We're handling things here, no need to worry. The Browntails' help has already arrived. They brought blankets and food. Madame Ratatos wanted to come personally, but she seems to be otherwise engaged. I figured as much. We know what's going on. Nobody blames her. Shistrak! The timing of this bloody disaster! It came out of the blue. There were no warning signs, no chance to prepare. Yes, that's why I came to you. You know the rules. This avalanche happened on Pale Roach land, and we're responsible for the mountains here. We've been watching the thickness of the snowpack. I've seen the records myself. Everything was normal. That's why I came to ask. Don't you have people at that research institute of yours whose job is to check on the mountains? What are they saying? Research institute? You mean RHINE lab? Yeah, they spent all day on the mountains carrying all that newfangled gear. You're not telling me they didn't find anything, are you? They have their own projects to deal with, and they don't necessarily focus all their attention on the mountains. Besides, we came as soon as we heard about the avalanche. We haven't had a chance to find out what they know. Serenciotis sent Degenbrecher up the mountains with a team. They should be back soon. This is sending chills up my spine. What in blazes is this avalanche? The wind wails, carrying snowflakes with it. The man turns around and stares at the mountain. He may be a mountain among men, but he is little more than a pebble before these silent mountains. Is that? A group is moving quickly down the snowy mountain path, heading for the two men.
Sir Matterhorn! We must let Sir Enciotis know at once! We found...
The investigator's expression is deathly pale, his fur boots wet and grey with dirty snow. In the wind, his rapid and ragged breathing sounds almost like wailing. If there are no further questions about the framework agreement, let us now move on to the detailed terms of the agreement. First, concerning taxation of the joint Kjerag-Casimir's mining endeavor. Sir, Madame Degenbrecher is outside. She has something to report. Right now? Yes, she says it's extremely urgent. What's this urgent matter? We found this on the mountain where the avalanche occurred. Degenbrecher opens her gloved hand, and a small black shard of originium lies quietly in her palm. On a mountain in Kjerag? If the mountain by the train station counts as Kjerag. Both Gnosis and Rhodes Island have examined it. It's almost certain that... Degenbrecher looks around her, making sure there are no eavesdroppers, and drops her voice. This avalanche was a catastrophe. How many know? The investigation team is our people, so we can keep them quiet, but a number of those at the foot of the mountain have been infected. It won't be a secret for long. Instruct Matterhorn to set up a blockade and not allow civilians to approach. I want checkpoints on the mountains as well. Contact Rhodes Island and request secrecy in the housing and treatment of patients. Tell them to contact Karlan Trade if they need any help. And tell Ratatos and Arknights to meet me at the train station in 1 hour, whatever it takes. Understood. Anything else? Take our squad and go to Winebeat Court immediately. And tell Gnosis to take a team to protect the RHINE Lab observation station. Understood. Enciotis checks his clothes and goes back into the conference room. I apologize for the delay. Let us continue. First, concerning taxation of the joint Kjerag-Casimir's mining endeavor.
Preposterous! Preposterous! There has never been such a prophecy in any of the scriptures. Why would Kjeragander punish us with a catastrophe? It's preposterous!
But it happened. She has left us because she's angry with us. How do we explain this catastrophe if not by Kjeragander's anger? Look at the crowd surrounding the Winebeat Court now. There are pious believers in Kjeragander, gentle children of Kjerag. Are we to tell them that the families and friends they lost, all their suffering happened for no reason at all?
The people are troubled. Their faith is shaken. But it is at a time like this that our own faith must be stronger than ever. How do we know this isn't a trial from Kjeragander to reinforce our faith? Kjeragander has not abandoned Kjerag. Why would she punish Kjerag for no reason?
Perhaps it happened because we've acted against Kjeragander's will.
The young cleric takes one look at the Saintess in the middle of the hall, then lowers his head without a word.
You may speak your mind. Saintess, I believe this is the fury of Kjeragander. It's a warning. Because the Winebeat Court, because we made the wrong choice. We should not have allowed the Faithless to build upon Mount Karlan. We should have remained firm, rejected them. If they did not defile the temple of Kjeragander and anger her, why would Kjerag...
His voice grows lower, but at the same time firmer. The hall is quiet, with no one speaking out in objection.
I see. You believe that I, the Saintess, have offended Kjerag and brought catastrophe upon Kjerag.
No, Saintess. What I mean is,
No, your words offer valuable insight. It is not only the people at the foot of the mountain. Many who sit among us think the same way. This is what is happening now. People doubt the Winebeat Court, and you, too, are anxious and wavering. Cleric Fangot, Cleric Ranoa, one of you believes that Kjerag continues to favor us as she always has. The other believes that Kjerag has...
She bows and thinks for a moment, her alabaster face calm as ice.
Recite to me the 3 protections detailed in the Kjerag.
Yes, Saintess. The first protection, page 7, line 9 of the Kjerag. And so she spoke to the shepherd boy, saying, I shall grant you shelter and all that you may need. I shall hunt in the woods, and I shall plant seeds in the earth, such that you will have furs to wear and food to eat, and neither frost nor famine shall take you. And thus she protects us from the harms of cold and hunger.
The second protection, page 25, line 17 of the Kjerag. And so the protector came forth from the people, awakened in the clouds of myriad colors, and built high walls of earth, water with snow. And thus she protects our homes and our kin, and she taught us the means to defend ourselves from our enemies.
And page 32, line 2 of the Kjerag, towards the end. That day she proclaimed to the people, My eyes shall watch over you, my fur shall warm you, my backbone shall protect you, while my flesh and blood shall bless you. You have learned the way of wind and snow, and learned the form of walking. You are the people of Kjerag, and the land of Kjerag belongs to you from this day forth.
Very good. Now tell me, is there anywhere in the Kjerag where Kjerag promises that Kjerag will always be saved from catastrophe? Are you making that promise to Kjerag's people on her behalf?
Many of the seated clerics look down without a word. It is quiet enough to hear a pin drop. The smell of incense fills the nostrils, but it feels as though their breaths have been frozen in place by the exchange that just occurred.
Your words ring true, Saintess. Catastrophe has struck Kjerag. Some have died and others have become afflicted. The entire Snow Realm has heard the news. Fear, anxiety, sorrow, and even anger are spreading throughout the people of Kjerag. Our duty is to seek a solution.
Certainly. Now is not the time for debate, and my words are intended as a warning not to fall into the twin traps of panic and prejudice. You are the faithful devotees of Kjerag, and you understand the weight that words have. No member of the Winebeat Court is to speak of Kjerag's punishment from this moment forth. Tomorrow I will go into the Hall of Writings and devote myself to studying the scriptures and hearing her voice. Elder Atzo.
Yes, Saintess.
As the new Great Elder, you shall oversee the Winebeat Court in my stead during my retreat. You are to carry out the duties of the court faithfully and diligently, from placating the people to conducting the memorial service and copying the scriptures for the repose of the deceased.
Understood.
We must have faith. Kjerag has weathered many storms and overcome many challenges. The Winebeat Court is ever with the people. At least things haven't gotten out of hand.
The girl exhales and slumps over the desk, finally able to relax the back that has been kept straight as a fur in the snow.
I don't understand. Why do people keep treating our god as a wishing well? Why do they attribute everything good and bad in their lives to her? I know this is not how I should think as their saintess, but I don't understand why a catastrophe would strike now either. Bring in the dresser, please, Kjerag. The funeral preparations are done. Starting tomorrow, we'll, Kjerag?
The room is quiet, except for the whistling of the wind and the cracking of the fire. Anya turns to find the room is completely empty.
Kjerag, where are you?
The handmaiden, who should be at the saintess's side at all times, is nowhere to be seen. There is only Anya's own shadow, thin and long, in the light of the fireplace, flickering in the dim room.
Kjerag?
Anya, tell me, honestly, do you still hear Kjeragander's voice?
The cracking of burning firewood echoes throughout the empty room. The wind continues to wail outside the window. She can almost hear the cries of the bewildered devotees at the foot of Mount Karlan. Anya recalls the day she first came to the saintess's quarters. An unfamiliar room, an unfamiliar smell. Home was well in sight, yet she would never return there on her own name. At that time, she felt the same emptiness, as though this room were a snowy cave. But she has grown accustomed to having a companion, someone to whom she can pour her heart out, someone on whom she can rely. But now, the Kjeragander scriptures lie open on the desk. The dressing mirror reflects the girl's helpless expression.
Kjerag, you promised me you wouldn't disappear so suddenly. Exactly what happened?
RHINE Lab Observation Station, Kjerag, 2 months ago.
That was fast. An observation station of this size built in such a short period of time. Business must have cried tears of blood when they approved the budget. Actually, we got more sponsorship offers from financial institutions than we could handle the moment the committee approved the Kjerag observation station. If anything, funding was the least of our worries on this project. Honestly, Silence, I didn't expect the committee to approve the proposal that easily. I had my reservations. I still think RHINE Lab is too adventurous with regard to research into the star pod. There are numerous potential risks that we have not fully considered. But I also recognize that the stability I hope for may never come. At the end of the day, it's the specific people in whom we place our trust. Well then, thank you for your trust, Silence of the Scientific Ethics Consensus Committee. I hope what we're doing is worth it. Of course it is. This station is a unique opportunity for the company. In addition to the star pod research, the low originium environment of Kjerag also offers a rare opportunity for biological research. Not to mention Mariam has wanted to visit Karlan for ages. Even Ferdinand came up with the proposal for the station's core power supply just 2 weeks after we got approval. Of course, he buried his head in his theoretical research right after that. Elena from Energy is handling the actual implementation. Let's hope our interactions with Kjerag go as smoothly.
I believe there will be no need to worry about that. The door to the observation station opens from the outside. The visitor flicks away the snow that has fallen on his shoulders and walks in.
We meet again, Mr. Edelweiss.
Just a regular visit to see if you need anything for the construction of the station. It seems like things are progressing quite smoothly. Gnosis looks up at the bright lights installed on the spacious ceiling of the station. RHINE Lab and Landslide have worked together to build this little temple, sturdy and bright, in an astonishingly short period of time. Compared to the houses of Kjerag, its bold, futuristic design might as well have come from another world. Landslide will do everything in our power to assist RHINE Lab's observation project, and provide any assistance necessary outside of the scope of work. As long as the terms agreed in the treaty are upheld, you will enjoy maximum freedom to conduct your activities in Kjerag.
Thank you for your generosity, Mr. Edelweiss. Research has always been the sole purpose of RHINE Lab. We had no reason to violate the treaty.
Of course, I believe as much. Such transnational cooperation is unprecedented in the history of Terra. It will undoubtedly produce its share of obstacles. I simply wish to express that as long as we proceed with due candor in the sharing of scientific information, we will be able to avoid the sort of accident that occurred in Tremounts.
Oh, I forgot to ask. Will the Saintess come and visit the station?
I expect she will attend the opening ceremony once the facility is complete. Is there a particular reason why you hope to meet her?
Oh, nothing serious. I'm just a curious critter. I kinda remember the Saintess wasn't too into our project, but then she flipped around and agreed, all of a sudden. I just wanted to know what made her change her mind, and I figured that'd be a chance to ask.
The Saintess and the Winebeat Court would be very happy to receive you. But know if you have such intentions, and I'll make the necessary arrangements. The Saintess and the Winebeat Court would be very happy to receive you. Let me know if you have such intentions. I'll make the necessary agreements.
Well, aren't you meticulous? You seem made for this job.
I'm simply showing you proper Kjerag hospitality. It's our mutual hope that this cooperation will be a fruitful one, free of trouble.
Much appreciated. Our project wouldn't be going so smoothly without your help.
I would not call it help. We are simply trying to achieve the same goal. Landslide will connect the mountains of Kjerag for you, paving the roads and providing the necessary freedom for your activities. In turn, RHINE Lab will share data from your studies of our local ecology and assist with medical development.
The contract details have to go between Director Fitzroy and Landslide, of course. I'm a researcher, not a diplomat. I just want you to know that RHINE Lab has come to this sacred place in good faith.
Of this, I think we are of the same mind. They shake hands with nods and smiles, an image that could have served as a perfect press photo. There is no need to worry. We will continue along as friends, assuming we both abide by our agreement.
The representatives of Landslide are here, Elena. I want to meet a representative of RHINE Lab as soon as possible.
Why? We don't have any scheduled meetings with Landslide, do we? Is it because of the catastrophe?
They want to discuss the cause and at least obtain the data observed by the station.
Right. Did you see Caroline anywhere? She's supposed to be in charge of the observation data, isn't she?
That's the other question I have for you. No one's seen her since yesterday morning.
What? Men with guns surrounding the station, demanding that all our researchers gather in the lobby for questioning. Is this how Landslide treats its friends, Mr. Edelweiss?
The researchers stand around the spacious lobby in small groups. Gnosis and the guards of Clan Silverash occupy the outside area near the door. The two groups stand opposite one another, as though separated by an invisible river. It's a request, not a demand, and it seems that not all your researchers are accounted for.
Who exactly are you looking for?
A researcher who was spotted in a restricted military zone of Kjerag. Gnosis scans the faces of the researchers one by one. The strong guard stands silently while the researchers exchange wordless gazes. She is not here. It seems the RHINE lab is not fully aware of your researchers' whereabouts.
If you're accusing us of espionage, I'll ask that you submit your complaint through the official channels. We are unable to cooperate with impromptu investigations like so.
Of course. There is another reason why I'm here. I'm sure you've heard about the catastrophe that occurred within Kjerag's borders several hours ago. Something that has never before happened in our history. Panic is spreading. The people's nerves are sensitive, and anything new may provoke a reaction. I'm sure you understand what I mean.
Should I trust that you're not one of the sensitive ones, Mr. Edelweiss?
My views on this matter, and Carlon Trade's views, are not important at this time. What is important is that the people want an explanation. I hope to work together with you to find the cause of this catastrophe.
I'm afraid you'll be disappointed. I just checked the station's observation logs. There was nothing out of the ordinary in the 72 hours preceding the catastrophe.
So you're telling me that the observation station did not detect anything abnormal leading up to the first catastrophe to strike this land in 1,000 years?
That's the truth, at least based on our observation data. Elena? It's alright. Mr. Edelweiss wants the truth. We'll give him the truth. The primary objective of this observation station is to study the star pod. Current research shows no relationship between the star pod and catastrophes. Similarly, any assertion that building an observation station here might bring catastrophe to Kjerag is purely speculative with no basis in evidence. Wait a second, Elena. Now is not the time to be argumentative. May I be frank?
You may. The young woman's voice is calm, her gaze firm and unwavering.
I won't mince words then. This may run contrary to the Kjerag faith, but from a scientific perspective, so-called sudden catastrophes are not an abnormal occurrence. It is the peace and quiet that Kjerag has enjoyed for so long, and the attitude of taking it for granted, that is truly abnormal.
The lobby is completely quiet. Elena's words echo to the end of the corridor.
When this observation station was first established, RHINE Lab considered adding a catastrophe warning system. Unfortunately, we placed too much trust in past experience and did not consider the installation of this system to be a priority. If we are to take remedial measures, the real priority should be for RHINE Lab and Carlon Trade to go back to the negotiation table and establish an effective catastrophe detection system in Kjerag as soon as possible.
A most astute observation, miss. I agree completely. Carlon Trade will make developing a catastrophe detection system a top priority. We would like to obtain a copy of the station's observation data from the past month. May we expect your cooperation?
Of course. One moment, please. I didn't know you had it in you, Elena. Sorry, Director Milesies. Was I too hot-headed? A little bit. Maybe? I was just angry at how science has to explain for perceptions that are completely unscientific, no matter where we are. We have to recognize that science can be a very distant thing for a lot of people. The people and the things that trouble us are part of this land. It's not something that we can ignore. Like Silence said, science is a clear, incisive look at every one of us. I know, but this is just so absurd. Never mind that for now. Let's get the data we need. Data. It's not like we'll find anything. Wait, this graph.
Elena picks up the scattered papers and notices the shape of a certain curve on a spectrogram.
This is impossible. What is it? This machine is used to study the star pod structure by bombarding it with high-powered particle beams and observing the resulting electromagnetic radiation. But I just realized that the data obtained between 3 to 4 a.m. on December 7th is identical to the data from the same period on December 4th. An unusual coincidence? No, it's impossible. Just like how no two snowflakes are completely alike, atmospheric electromagnetic radiation is constantly changing. There is only one possibility. If the exact same waveform is displayed during the same time period on 2 different days for an entire hour, someone altered these data. Falsifying data to support a hypothesis? But people don't usually pull shenanigans like that until way later in a project. Got any idea who might have done it? December 7th, the day before the catastrophe. The one on observation duty was Carolyn. Could it be?
Angry shouts pierce through the metal walls.
Give Mount Carlin back to us! Back to Kjerag! Back to Kjerag Under! Get off Kjerag Under's land!
So yeah, that avalanche will definitely have some lingering effects on the people of Kjerag. But before we go into any other discussions here, first off, we have 2 new enemies to introduce. The first one is the Snow Child, tiny creatures that hop around the uninhabited Kjerag snowfields, rather careless and prone to accidents. In spring, their coat turns from snow white to a dusty grey and grows fluffy. The second one is the Fluffy Snowball, creatures indigenous to Kjerag, popular amongst tourists for their soft, fluffy fur and friendly nature. Some claim that their fur was once the main clothing material for the people of Kjerag, but there is no evidence to verify this claim. Look, if they are fluffy and you can capture them easily and you need fur, I'll believe it that people use these little fluffs as as both leather and fur for warmth. But yeah, the avalanche will definitely have some repercussions for the people here, and definitely will stick with the people here for a long while. And then on top of that, we have Kjerag, who has disappeared as well, out of into the ether of nothing, just up and gone, which obviously leaves Enya, Pramanix, being a bit on edge, considering that Kjerag was always with her since she became Saintess, so that is definitely something new for her. And one thing that I forgot to mention, which is from the first cutscene, from the introductory cutscene, we have now a new Elder. The first Elder that was pretty much on his deathbed in the first cutscene, in the introductory cutscene, we have seen the guy before. I'm gonna put an image of the guy here on screen. We've seen him in, I think it was all the way back in Break the Ice. That's where they showed him the first time. I can't remember if they showed him in Lake Zilbenehatze at all, but he was shown in the first story. So that's been a while. So you've just seen a reminder of of how the guy looked. And speaking of the Elder, there's been one significant change in this story, a renaming. Now, I do not know why the renaming was necessary, but yeah, they renamed the court. It is now known as the Vine Bead Court. It was previously known as the Vine Bear Court. I do not know why the naming is necessary, but yeah, from now on, Bear is Bead. For reasons I do not know. Maybe I have my doubts that in the first 2 stories, Vine Bear Court was a typo or a mistranslation, and now they decided to rename it. There's probably a reason for it. It's not like it makes much of a difference. It's just a different type of name. Maybe it has something to do with the stories we're gonna be going forward. But right now, I could not tell you. I honestly could not tell you. Maybe there is a lore reason why they decided to rename the court from Bear to Beat. But outside of that, I really couldn't tell you. And also very interesting, from this cutscene we learn how quickly the laboratory up in the mountains for RHINE Lab has been built. We get to see Elena, and yeah, they are all looking for one of their employees that is there, one of their researchers that has disappeared, that we saw in the first cutscene, and is currently MIA from the whole thing. And yeah, people are pissed. The people of Faith are very pissed at them, as you might be able to tell, and more on that in the next cutscene, so let's proceed. So then, second stage, lovely neighbors. The visitor knocks on the door, bringing fine food and wine, and putting on a show of friendship, waiting for a sign of weakness he can exploit.
There they are! The unclean who defiled Mount Carlan and the faith of Kjerag! This iron house of foreigners has angered Kjeragander.
O Kjeragander on high, forgive our sins. The sound of praying and sobbing, mixed with angry shouting. The sounds weave into a rope, connecting tearful, fearful and angry faces surrounding the newly built observation station. The steel door remains unmoving. A wizened voice cuts through the crowd. Remember that the wind wrapping the mountains does not come from nowhere. The wind continues to roar. The old woman walks across the snow to the tightly shut door, her voice clearly heard by the others. It is her breath, sweeping down from the snow-white peaks.
It is her ever-vigilant watch, rising from the deepest valley to the highest cloud.
It will drive out the miasma of evil,
and
parasites that hide among the rocks.
It brings all these sounds back to her ears, so that she will hear, and the mountains bright and clear.
Wait, is the door moving?
Yes, they're opening the door. Our protests worked. Open up and hear our voice. Listen to the true voice of Kjeragander's people. Listen to the voice of Kjerag. You are not welcome here. You must leave.
Outsiders off Mount Carlan. Go back where you came from.
Outsiders off Mount Carlan. Outsiders off Mount Carlan.
The cries grow louder and clearer. Someone stretches out and waves toward the sky. Is it the result of sincere prayer? Or did the combined force of their invocations cause steel to tremble? The door opens. All breaths are abated in the silence. That garb, are they from Clan Silverash?
The one behind them, the Edelweiss? Did he come to send these outsiders away?
He'd better. They were the ones who brought these people in, and they should be the ones to pick up the mess. But something about his expression. Clear out the protesters. Avoid casualties.
Put down your weapons. Back off.
We're not backing off. Why are you telling us to go away? The ones who should go away are... Keep your hands off me! Edelweiss, whose side are you on?
Whose side do you think they're on? Their weapons and shields are pointed towards us. Isn't it clear enough who his friends and enemies are? A blizzard is coming. You should leave before the road is completely blocked. No need to worry about the dangers along the way. Clan Silverash's guards will ensure your safety and bring you back to...
Grandma, wait! Don't!
The old woman forces her arm through the guard's ranks. Her movements are swift and without hesitation. The cold snow splashes upon the Liberi's face. May Kjeragander forgive your sins. Pity and resolute mercy congregate upon the wrinkled face. Her cold finger touches Gnosis's forehead, leaving behind a simple curved line. A Kjerag ritual, intended to drive the evil out of a child afflicted by fever. May her miracle drive out the miasma of evil and the parasites that hide amongst the rocks from you. Remember that the winds of Kjeragander have visited upon your stubbornness before. Now, you send her away. Go home, madam. There is no change in Gnosis's expression as snowmelt flows down his face. The winds on the mountains are harsh. Don't catch a cold.
Kjerag, the beautiful paradise clean and pristine beneath the wind and snow, pious and pure under divine protection. The faith of its people is firm as the mountains, never wavering, or perhaps a single snowflake is all it takes to begin its collapse.
What do you think of the catastrophe? Will it shake your faith in Kjerag?
The faith of Kjerag isn't so weak. The people of Kjerag have never wavered, even before the toughest trial. I'll set out for Mount Karlan once the catastrophe is cleaned up and my leg is good again. The sun of Kjerag will drive out all corruption and evil, and those who bathe in it need fear neither pain nor illness, nor the stone disease. Kjerag is great. Kjerag is kind. She will never abandon Kjerag. Everything will go back to the way it was once we clean up the snow.
Of course, it's all the fault of those RHINE lab people. Everything started going bad when they came. Kjerag doesn't need no observation station. All we need is Kjeragander's protection. Drive them out. Give me back my peaceful life. And my mom and dad. Is there anything I can help? Wait, you're Victorian? Get your pitchforks. Who let this one into the village? Colombians and Victorians. Is everybody making their homes on our turf now? Get lost. You're not welcome here. This will be tougher than I thought. Do you need some help? Hi, I'm fine. I'm just short on film. I don't suppose I'll be able to find any here. Let me see. You can get this model from the Central Mall in the Silver Ash domain. Nice pics. Are you a photographer from Victoria? A reporter, to be exact. Good timing. May I get an interview? Who? Me? How do you view the catastrophe that just occurred in Kjerag? How do you view your faith when Kjeragander no longer protects Kjerag from catastrophe? I thought I heard talking about Kjeragander and catastrophes from over there. You want to know how Kjerag people think? Of course. We came to report on the true Kjerag. People in other lands know very little about it, and we want your voice to reach them. There's no need to be burdened by the weight of religion. Liberate yourself from the systematic oppression of rules and tradition, and tell me what you truly feel. Wow, I never heard so many big words spoken in a single breath. My view on catastrophes is simple. Catastrophes outside Kjerag are really bad, and it's the same for this catastrophe in Kjerag. People suffer and get hurt everywhere. It makes me sad, and I wish these things never happened. As for faith, may I ask a question? Does Victoria have a god too? Victoria? Yes, I'm curious what the god of Victoria is like. Is he really petty? Does he get angry easily? You've been going around the village asking questions for days, but you don't talk about anything other than Kjeragander is angry and Kjeragander has abandoned you. So I thought maybe faith to you is something that's colder, harsher.
A smile appears on the girl's face. Her cheeks rise, and her voice is light and spry.
I believe the god of Kjerag isn't like that. Kjeragander is like the people of Kjerag, generous and kind. She doesn't get angry over cable cars and factories, or light bulbs and books, and she won't throw a tantrum by causing a catastrophe and taking lives. Kjeragander isn't petty like that.
Heave! One more box. Move over. Alright, put it down. You got room on your truck. You got another 15 barrels of burnt beast milk wine. Can you bring it with you?
15 barrels? You ought to keep it. Can't have a big bar like this and nothing for guests. The 3 great clans have already donated plenty of stuff to the affected village, not to mention the local gentry. A few barrels of wine more or less won't make much difference.
Glad to hear that. They can donate, but I can't. Who are you to decide whether they need it or not? Which of us has actually seen a catastrophe before?
But it's too much.
It's not. I know you're short on wine. Not only does wine keep people warm, it can also be used in medicine and even to disinfect wounds when necessary. If we had all this stuff back then, well, never mind. Anyway, you're taking it, not one barrel less. Or I'll take it as you saying that I'm not one of you, and I don't belong to Kjerag.
Wait, that's not what I meant.
Then take it. Think of it as doing me a favor. You know how that father-in-law of mine is like. He's endured hardship all his life, but he's never been stingy when it comes to sharing with hungry people. Now move aside and let me put the cargo in.
Just don't get in any trouble and make him even angrier. I still remember how he huffed and puffed when you proposed to his daughter. I thought he was a nice guy who just wanted to help. Turns out he was after my little girl Freya. He said it and he was still mad, so he pulled out his cane and...
What are you lot chatting so excitedly about? Let's get to work. Dad and I just checked our stock. We still have about 2 truckloads of stuff, mostly dried meat and cheese, plus some butter and herbs. Good thing I caught you before you left, Krete. Need to tell Carl and Trey to send another truck here.
2 trucks?
I told you, Krete.
Fine, suit yourself. You're the only newlyweds I know who'd rather give away their whole storehouse before taking any gifts.
It's a catastrophe after all. It's never happened to Kjerag. No one knows how bad it is. But now is the time for us to work together and help each other in Kjeragander's name.
In Kjeragander's name. We'll work together and pull through.
Let's go back, Lisburn. The wind's getting stronger.
I can't help but have a feeling.
A feeling of what?
A strange feeling. That something's about to happen. No, I must be overthinking it.
Your intuition is as sharp as always.
Wait, Harold? Is this real? Am I dreaming?
Well, that's certainly an honor. You still remember my name. Looks like you haven't forgotten the time we fought alongside each other.
Please stop making fun of me. What brings you here?
What else could it be? We've heard there's a spot of trouble in Kjerag, so we came to offer some warmth, as a good neighbor should.
Oh, a whole truck of supplies.
A truck? Take another look. Harold gestures behind himself, and Lisburn sees a long procession of vehicles bearing the Victorian crest, stretching as far as the eye can see.
Some warmth, you say?
Well, we are warmer than some other folk, to be sure.
I must emphasize our concerns regarding this matter, Mr. Silverash. We consider Carl and Trade a reliable partner, and Kjerag a respectable nation. We had hoped that the observation station would be the tip of the spear of our mutual understanding and cooperation. I have to say, at the moment, we are disappointed.
I understand Your Excellency's concerns. Allow me to explain.
No, I don't need an explanation. We understand the unfortunate circumstances that have befallen Kjerag, and we express our deepest sympathies. But that is no reason for Kjerag mobs to attack innocent Colombian scientists. We're seeing verbal abuse of our scientists, promoting hate and xenophobia. We are outraged by Kjerag's contempt for and violation of the safety of other people. Should your government continue to allow the situation to spiral out of control, the Colombian side will take action to ensure the safety of RHINE Lab's researchers by evacuating them, in accordance with our treaty.
Regarding the incident at the RHINE Lab observation station, Carlon trade personnel have arrived on site and are working to de-escalate the conflict, preventing the situation from further deteriorating. As I understand it, there has been no injury to person or property.
Should we thank our lucky stars, or that public sentiment has not yet reached a boiling point? Should we continue to trust in Kjerag's ability to stabilize the situation, or should that public outrage dissipate overnight?
The fireplace cracks, sending forth a wave of warmth, but there is no warmth on the faces in the room. The Colombian ambassador adjusts her posture and raps the table with her finger, speaking in a calm tone.
We respect the professionalism, sincerity, and capability that Carlon Trade has demonstrated in the past. It has allowed our cooperation and scientific collaboration to progress safely, up to this point. Now, however, the Colombia's best and brightest are in danger on your land, danger that they never should have found themselves in. Kjerag needs to provide a solution, or at least demonstrate a will to resolve the situation.
Your Excellency cannot ask so much of a developing country. Considering Kjerag's current circumstances, I find Mr. Silverash's performance thus far quite impressive.
I see that Victoria shows great care for her neighbor.
But of course, a kind neighbor should always be ready to lend a kind hand. Remember the prince of Victorian folklore, who gave his golden crown to a foul beast in the snow.
The man smiles with an expression of unnatural benevolence. He draws out a piece of paper from his pocket and unfolds it on the table.
Here is a checklist for the first catch of humanitarian assistance. Food, blankets, medicine, spirits, sugar, salt, a team of doctors, and 2 veteran peacekeeping squads. Exactly what Kjerag needs right now.
This is very generous. Kjerag appreciates your kindness.
Not mine. This is the kindness of the Empire of Victoria. Our prince had a heart of gold. He would give his prized sword in the same way he would offer gold and silver. It all depends on what you need and what manner of threat you face. There is no need to fear or worry. I'm sure you will make a decision that is satisfactory to all 3 sides of us. After all, survival is an art form in the Snow Realm. Is it not, Mr. Silverash?
Gazes beckoning and questioning converge upon the piece of paper, and on the silent young man.
What are your thoughts, Mr. Silverash?
Enciotis looks down at the pushed piece of paper and picks it up. Black and white, neat and clear. There is no deception. Even the names of the squad leaders are listed on the paper, a perfect show of sincerity and pomposity.
I have no reason to refuse, do I?
As you said, this is exactly what Kjerag needs right now. The supplies will keep people fed, and the doctors will help us win more battles against illness and death. As for trained soldiers, I'm sure I do not need to expound upon usefulness. To the question that was interrupted, Madam Ambassador, Kjerag vowed to protect the safety of each and every researcher at the station when it was first established. That vow has not been broken. I'm not sure why you're so eager to reach the conclusion that Kjerag has lost control of the situation. The Vine Beat Court and Carlon Trade will uphold our end of the bargain. May I ask you to continue trusting Kjerag's ability to deal with our own problems? As for whether the incident at the observation station was an accident or instigated by those with ulterior motives, I believe
The time will tell.
Very well, Mr. Silverash. I look forward to your show of competence. But I must remind you how important the project is to Columbia. We believe it to be of paramount significance to all Terra. Therefore, the Columbian side will deploy any means necessary to protect our scientists and their findings. Any means necessary.
Indeed. I too believe that the scientific exploration taking place in Kjerag belongs to all of Terra. The Empire of Victoria will do our part to maintain Kjerag's stability. Of course. I'm sure we're all of one mind on this matter.
The sun shines in through the window, past the shoulder of the Colombian ambassador, and upon the chest of the Victorian ambassador. He stands up from his chair, his back perfectly straight. The discussion seems to have come to a close.
Such a wise decision. It seems all of us have gotten what we wanted.
Is the meeting over?
How long have you been waiting?
Half an hour. I made good use of it going through 4 reports while I was waiting.
Take a seat. If you want a drink, help yourself.
Thank you, but I already helped myself to the tea that you kept on the top of the shelf. It has been there for a little too long.
There's finally time to ask you, what's the situation at RHINE Lab?
They have no insights into the catastrophe, as expected. Our people demonstrated enough restraint. There weren't any real attempts at violence. Most satisfied themselves with reciting the Kjeragander as they held hands. But I noticed that there were a few people at the front who shouted the loudest, only to disappear into the crowd when they saw the soldiers.
Are you concerned?
I'm concerned that this may only be the first incident. The observation station is not the only place where conflict is happening. There have been protests and rallies in the domains of the other 2 clans. Strikes at our factories as well. I'm dealing with it. Someone understands that they can use this catastrophe as a weapon. They know the power of the people's will. A trick that you've deployed before, but the weapon is not in your hands this time.
You skipped the part where someone threw snow in your face.
Is that important?
It's the only thing that's unexpected.
Did you expect Columbia and Victoria to sit you down for a game of good cop, bad cop?
Yes and no. The Colombians' attitude is aggressive, but at the end of the day, it's continued cooperation that they want. The most important thing for them is that the observation station delivers results. As for the Victorians, they're more anxious than we thought.
I saw Harold's caravan. I'm sure he's wandering about the streets, telling neighborly stories with his old friends. His wandering should take him to Carlin Trade headquarters in another 20 minutes. I suppose you've already signed and received the goods, and I don't suppose we had a choice. The pale roaches and browntails will find out soon. As for how they'll take it, let's just say you should be prepared for the 3-clan council. Getting cold feet?
I'm used to it.
This nonchalant attitude of yours is why people hate you so much.
Thank you for the compliment.
At the end of the day, however, none of us expected this catastrophe to happen. You can act as unflappable as you like, but don't tell me this disaster hasn't actually fazed you. I don't think you're actually that thick.
I know. With risk, however, comes opportunity. It's the first catastrophe that Kjerag has seen in 1,000 years. Perhaps it's time for certain things that have lasted 1,000 years to change.
Ensiodes looks out the window.
It has started to snow again, covering the land of Kjerag in white. The mountain winds continue to blow. They call it the breath of Kjeragander, her messenger. It walks every inch of Kjerag, bringing all its sounds back to her ears. She will tell right from wrong, good from evil, friend from foe, piety from falsehood, medicine from poison, and mirth from tears. She will pass judgment. There's one other thing that you should know. The avalanche caused by the catastrophe destroyed the train station at the foot of the mountain. Strangely and fortunately, there were fewer people inside the station than expected. It was only in later interviews that we learned that someone had shouted about a bomb in the station, causing the crowd to flee. Who? We don't know yet. But the researcher who disappeared from RHINE lab remains unaccounted for. If they are one and the same, then she had not cleared the borders of Kjerag when the catastrophe occurred. She could still be somewhere in the realm. I see. You're the only one I can count on for this gnosis. Find this woman, without triggering a response from RHINE lab. You're finally starting to look serious. Should I ask why? You'll learn soon enough. But ideally, one should not have to rely on trick plays in the game of chess.
When the winter nights were long and there was no food to be found, she walked into the forests to look for seeds. No, not this one either. The word catastrophe doesn't even exist in the old Kjeragi language. Is it possible that we truly have never been struck by catastrophe before? Or maybe the ancient people couldn't tell catastrophes from normal disasters and mixed their records with others. The snowmelt flooded field and pasture. The crops fell to an untimely winter tide. No, none of these sound like catastrophe. I remember there's another story that she used to tell. When the cold winter night froze the heart of Karlan, the enemy from afar came across the ice. The warrior stood vigil with weapon in hand. At dusk, he saw a terrifying abomination in the mirror like ice. Ratzorn. The warrior ran back to his clan to warn the others, but
No one but the warrior could see the creature. Nobody believed his words. And so the warrior began to live in fear.
Elder Atso? Why did you...
I came after morning prayers. I did not wish to disturb you, so I remained quiet. But I could not resist the urge to speak when you recited a familiar section of the scriptures. I apologize for disturbing you.
It's alright. I just thought you were still handling matters of court.
The light is dim.
From Enya's vantage point, sitting on a high ladder, the Great Elder's robe seemed to blend into the color of the floor. She cannot see his expression.
You must be very busy after taking over as Great Elder. Is everything going well?
You? You think too highly of an old man like me, Great Saintess. I've spent most of my life here in the Hall of Writings, and I hardly ever step out of the Winebeat Court, not to mention dealing with matters of court. My only claim to this position is my age, and apart from that, I can only do my best.
You're too modest. I haven't had many chances to speak to you, but I understand that you're a man of great learning.
You flatter me. The more I study the tomes, the more conscious I am of my own ignorance. We all are, compared to her. But I heard that you had been studying the scriptures for 2 days and nights without rest, so I came to see if I could share the burden.
It's good timing. I also have some questions that I would like to discuss with you.
She closes the scroll and climbs down. The old wooden ladder creaks as it faithfully connects knowledge in high places and the silent ground. Enya walks out from amongst the bookshelves with scrolls in her arms, sitting down by the spacious table that is already covered in open scrolls.
This is what I've compiled over the past 2 days. I searched for any and all records of unusual disasters in Kjerag, but I have yet to find any evidence of a catastrophe ever having occurred in our borders. And I still haven't been able to find an explanation as to why this catastrophe chose this moment to strike, when there has been nothing particularly unusual about this year's winter.
The girl looks up from the scroll to the Great Elder. However, the old man seems uninterested in the scriptures lying before him. He bows his head, squinting with the saged eyelids that lie below his white hair.
You do not seem to approve of the studies that I have pursued.
No, I dare not be so impudent. You're seeking the truth of the catastrophe, the massive thing that has descended before us, the fear incarnate. Like digging a path through a mountain, or building a bridge over a river, your actions are undoubtedly logical. But to search the entirety of Kjerag's history, every little tribulation within the fragments, it is an ordeal akin to searching for a grain of salt in the snow by candlelight.
I'm not afraid of ordeals. I must find an explanation for this catastrophe. I must.
I understand. You worry for Kjerag and take pity on those affected by the disaster, and I can feel there is some other anxious emotion driving you. But perhaps this anxiety has made you short-sighted.
I've never asked you in private, Great Elder Atso. What do you think of this catastrophe that has struck Kjerag?
I must admit that my knowledge is shallow, and unable to explain the reason behind this catastrophe. But I agree with what you said a few days ago. Kjerag never promised her people they would be safe from the threat of catastrophe. Indeed, Kjerag has never made any promises to her people. On the contrary, the scriptures often emphasize that we must not validate her existence through miracles. We believe in her because we believe she is good, that she embodies all that is good. We follow her ways such that we can be our better selves.
I agree with you. But I fear the public will not respond well to such an interpretation.
Indeed. Reason and insight are a pair of golden shoes that will take you far, but only if your feet can fit them. The day may come when your path of truth is validated, but it is not today.
Then, what do we do?
What do we do? That is a question I do not have an answer for. But you are reciting the story of Ratsorn. Let us continue.
The book on the table records a conflict that occurred over water sources. It is an old story, a common refrain in many civilizations. The Great Elder reaches and pulls another book from under it. Dust intertwines with the scent of charcoal from the fireplace, like a piece of amber hovering in the air.
The warrior searched far and wide for a way to fight the monster, but even Kjerag could not help the warrior kill a monster that could not be seen. And so she led the warrior back to the frozen lake, and she spoke to him, saying, "The others cannot fight the monster, for they do not see it. Only you may find a way to defeat it." The warrior was enlightened. The heart of Carlin began to melt, and winter was driven out by spring. Kjerag granted her people the final blessing. Her tears froze the enemy, becoming 3 eternally frozen peaks.
The first story of the Book of Home in the Kjerag. It has been subject to various interpretations by scholars of generations. The Heart of Karlan likely refers to Lake Zilbenehatse, and some believe that this warrior, who heeded the words of Kjerag, was the very archetype of the saintesses. Opinions differ on the enemy that came across the ice. As for the monster that could not be seen...
Ratsorn. A word that has long lost its true meaning, and one of Kjerag's most famous bedtime stories. Parents tell the story to children who refuse to go to sleep, before tucking them back in. The name is so widespread that most people have forgotten that Ratsorn was not an incantation or meaningless babble, but a word with a clear, specific meaning.
Many words lose their meaning over time. At one point, Ratsorn was believed to be a loan word that came from Kjerag 1,000 years ago, of the same origin as the word catastrophe. If I recall correctly, your work in the Hall of Writings involves decoding and translating in important words that have lost their original meanings.
Research that has fortunately borne fruit. The word Ratsorn has 2 parts. The short, stopped syllable, rad, and the stiff, sibilant syllable, sorn.
The fireplace flickers as the Great Elder draws a line across the page with his finger, leaving a crease of shadow that fades away in a second. Cutting in half a mysterious abomination the likes of which has never been seen before.
The word sorn is not hard to understand. It translates roughly to something terrifying or unknown monster. It comes from old Ursin dialects spoken in Kjerag, which are still used by some of the older generation. It serves as the anchor for our exploration. Red comes from Victorian, sharing an etymology with the word redleth, which means blind or short-sighted. 5 centuries ago, a famous playwright from County Hillock penned a word in his play, The Rose of Shah.
Radlith, which means unseeable, a place of darkness.
Yes, so you've seen the manuscript and the comments in it. Unfortunately, I was young at the time I left those comments, and my knowledge deficient. I have pored over many pages in the years that followed, which granted me sufficient knowledge to discover and address the errors of my past.
The room is silent except for the sound of pen writing on paper, soft as the sound of a tiny bug crawling across the page. The word reads Ratsorn, the 2 etymologically different roots separated from each other, with a circle around Rad.
It is indeed a place that is unseeable, a place of darkness that one cannot discover on one's own. It means the heart.
Then the meaning of Ratsorn is the terrifying thing in the heart of man.
Exactly.
The warrior saw his inner demons upon the lake. Others could not see it, because no one else can know your own fears, and Kjerag was powerless as well, because the only thing that can defeat one's inner demons is oneself. What is truly terrifying is not the disaster that we can see and feel, but the monsters in our hearts.
You are wise, Saintess. The sages realized this 1,000 years ago. Now this catastrophe that has struck Kjerag is also a Ratsorn, which only Kjerag can see.
But now there is no Kjerag to lead the lost warrior.
Why do you say so? Kjerag could not help the people fight their inner demons, for she is absolutely good, without the flaws of men. The darkness that clouds the people's hearts does not exist in her. So she chose a saintess from among the mortals, and bestowed upon her the power to fight Ratsorn. Only she is always at Kjeragander's side. The snow washes her eyes, her piety judged by ice. She hears the guidance of Kjerag and cherishes the love of the people. Only she can dig open ice and soil and make a path for the people of Kjerag out of their heart's maze, such that Kjerag will return to us. That is what the people of Kjerag have believed for centuries. Only the saints may atone on their behalf, on behalf of the children of Kjerag.
The Great Elder places his hands on his knees and bows his head in an imploring gesture. The saintess of the vine-beat court sits on the other side of the candle. The flame flickers and the wick grows long.
You are proposing a pilgrimage.
It is time for the noon prayers. I'm afraid I must take my leave, Saintess.
One moment, Elder Atso.
Saintess?
Something you said caught my attention. You said Kjerag has never made any promises to her people, and that she does not rely on miracles to demonstrate her existence to her believers. Do you believe that Kjerag doesn't exist?
No. Of course Kjerag exists. Look at our bodies, our faces, and hear our own language. Every tree and grass, rock and brick in Kjerag is proof of Kjerag's existence. Of course, some hope for a divine spectacle from our god to affirm their own faith. But if a god truly stood before us, answering our every call, what need would remain for our faith? This is the first thing that every believer should know. For you to bring this up now...
Never mind. I misspoke.
The old man silently bows and leaves. He disappears through the door, like a speck of dust brushed off a page.
I see you beaten me here. Did the two of you summon me to discuss disaster relief? What the hell is this, Antiochus?
Arktos tosses a package bearing the Victorian crest on the table.
A supply package containing a day's ready-to-eat rations, as well as emergency medicine. Don't play the fool! I'm asking why are there so many Victorians in Kjerag at a time like this? The reporters are babbling all over the place, soldiers dressed in workers' garb everywhere. I saw more Victorians than burden beasts on my way here. Don't tell me you don't know about this. I'm well aware that Landslide has been handing this stuff out.
The Wine-beat court never enacted a ban on Victorians entering Kjerag. Besides, Victoria's help has been substantial in our present situation. What would it do to Kjerag's international reputation if we rejected our country's assistance for no reason at a time like this, let alone expelling our visitors?
Some bloody help! Do you think we can overcome this catastrophe on our own, without those hypocrites pretending to be good neighbors?
The teacup on the table ripples, sending parts of its contents splashing onto the wooden surface. It faintly reflects the heads of the three clans, like three mountains of different heights.
Besides, what kind of help can the Victorians bring? Oh, I remember. That man named Harold helped, didn't he? Drinking with our people, chatting them up, going into the pens, treating the beasts and delivering new fowls. He made the burden beasts fat and plump. People say he's a Victorian, but he's not a bad guy. And what happened? What did he do at Lake Zilbenehatza? I thought you were supposed to be the smart one, Antiochus, but you couldn't even learn that lesson. I'm telling you, no matter what the Silver Ashes and Brown Tails think, not one Victorian will set foot on Pale Roach Land from this day forth. I don't care about your political goals or international reputation. I won't let the Victorians have their way on Kjerag soil.
Calm down, Arctos. Are we going to fight amongst ourselves before we've dealt with the foreigners?
Then, what do you think, Ratatos?
The fireplace continues to crackle. Ratatos' voice is calm, the dark rings around her eyes showing the toll that the past few days have taken on her.
This time I'm with Arctos. You've dealt with the Victorians the most. You know their ways, especially at a time like this. Victoria does not show kindness to Kjerag for no reason. The aid could turn into a poison pill at any time. All the chaos we've seen over the past few years, more part of it had nothing to do with foreigners. You of all people should understand the risks.
I completely agree, Ratatos. But we must not forget that, while stagnation may be the least risky course of action at present, it is also the surest way to doom. Sending people at a time like this, Victoria is testing us. They're hoping that we will fall apart on our own. It has taken so long and so much for Kjerag to finally see the results of reform. To close our doors again at this junction would be to lay waste to all that we've done over the years. You're set on dealing with the Victorians? You have my word. Karlan Trade has taken responsibility for establishing contact with other nations. We will handle Kjerag's relationship with Victoria.
How can you be so sure?
As you said, Victoria has never given up on exploiting us. Have they ever succeeded, though?
That look again. Like you're always in control, always so sure of yourself. Kjerag is changing. Not just the changes that you've brought about, but also the changes brought about by Catastrophe and by progress. Nothing stays the same forever. That's true of your past successes too.
And it's true of the great power's lofty perch.
My Kjeragander, I hope you know what you're doing.
In the distance, the evening prayer bell tolls at the Vinebeat court, echoing amongst the pillars.
Serentiotis,
The Saintess requests your presence at the Hall of Lectures.
the Saintess?
It seems we'll have to continue this conversation another day. Even if we have not reached an accord, do not forget it was the decision of the Vinebeat court to open up Kjerag to foreign dialogues. To cross the line now is to defy the Vinebeat court and the Saintess herself.
Huh. Don't try to keep my head down with some tough words. But remember this, my eye is open, and I won't allow anyone to do anything that will harm this land. There is no length I won't go to protect Kjerag.
Do remember, Serentiotis, that your decisions affect more than just your domain and your company. This whole nation will be affected. I hope Kjerag will not pay the price for your pride.
No one can make Kjerag pay, as long as our people remain united.
Huh?
Excuse me.
Your visitor is here, Saintess. Wait at the door. Do not allow anyone to enter without my permission. Yes, Saintess.
For what purpose do you summon me, Saintess?
Nothing important. I just realized that it has been some time since your presence last graced the Hall of Lectures.
If I am being charged with impiety, then I have no defense. I will come to hear your lectures each week, once the current crisis has passed.
I know you're a busy man, but I have rarely seen you so fatigued. I take it the matters at hand have been troubling.
I'm sure you understand that the people have been restless in the aftermath of the catastrophe.
There is much to be done. But the Winebeat Court will only grow busier. Take care.
Ensiodas gestures under his eyes with his finger. Enya sees it, but says nothing. The fire burns bright in the fireplace, its warmth reaching the eyebrows and noses of the Silver Ash siblings, warming their pale and alike complexions. They are not looking at one another, but towards a solemn statue.
I saw Arctos today. He looked out of sorts as he greeted me. Even Ratatos did not seem her normal self. It won't be the first time the three of you have fought, but a situation like this, I haven't seen in a long time. What happened?
Temporal matters that you need not worry yourself about.
Then please tell me, what are the temporal matters that trouble Kjerag? Is it the Victorians?
Yes and no. They immediately sent a large relief effort to Kjerag as soon as the news about the catastrophe got out. The Colombians also learned about the incident at the observation station and threatened to send troops to protect and evacuate their scientists. They are paying close attention to this catastrophe, each for their own reasons.
So they understand Kjerag better than we think. They know well what this catastrophe means to Kjerag.
The politicians smell chaos and see it as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to extend their influence into Kjerag. We know that Victoria has been doing far more within our borders for a long time. They have simply stopped trying to hide it. I have a good guess as to who is behind Victoria's movements. Her plot is not hard to decipher. It is simply the instincts of a politician. If I was in her shoes, I'd agree it would be but another chess piece to move.
You know I don't like it when you get like that.
I apologize. I spoke out of turn in this holy place.
Why do you keep putting yourself in the plotter's seat, treating everything around you as chess pieces and bargaining chips? Do you enjoy games like this?
This is our reality, one that florid words cannot conceal. If we want to be strong, independent, even sit as equals with the great powers at the same table, then we must play by the same rules.
Is this the most absurd part of it? Kjerag is not the only country that preaches virtue and goodness. Those politicians, too, play the part of leaders and teachers in their own country. They are hypocritical and deceitful, but they teach their people to be honest and sincere. They are avaricious and insatiable, but they teach their people to be gentle and kind. I ask then, Sirensiones, are the virtues that I preach to the people of Kjerag as saints, and the tenets of the scriptures, all lies and nonsense to you?
Enya.
The fire flickers as a charred piece of wood snaps in two.
The name, buried for so many years, is once again uttered by a Silver Ash.
Sirensiones, would you have come to me today if I did not summon you with the authority of the saints?
Kjerag faces an unprecedented crisis. One wrong step, and we may never recover. We need unity more than ever, and the authority of the saints is crucial at a time like this.
I see you finally recognize the importance of faith to our people.
I never denied it. Faith in Kjeragander is fundamental to us. We cannot even begin to talk about this land without it.
Yes, more than one person has said as much to me. But when we view faith from the perspective of gain and loss, have we really paused to think if our history, free from the threat of catastrophe, was a mere coincidence?
There is no point in discussing whether it was a miracle or not. What happened, happened. The only thing we can do now is to calm the people.
On this, at least, we are in agreement.
It's not an easy thing.
Then I shall begin my pilgrimage as Saintess.
What?
I set out early tomorrow morning. The news will be known all across Kjerag by dusk.
Was this the Wine Beat Court's decision?
It was my decision.
The pilgrimage takes place in spring or autumn. Has a pilgrimage ever taken place in the middle of winter?
Has a catastrophe ever occurred in Kjerag? We don't have time.
You know how dangerous this is.
Of course I do. But how else do we calm the people's fear of catastrophe? How do we make them believe that Kjeragander will forgive their transgressions? There will be no companion, no temporal possessions, no carriages, no rest. The Saintess shall circle the land of Kjerag on foot, atoning for the sins of all the people and praying for Kjeragander's forgiveness. It will take 3 months, if all goes well. More than one Saintess has died on the journey.
Then why do you...
Brother.
The young woman pauses for a moment, then continues like snow melting into a river, flowing down the peaks of Mount Matterhorn. They are surrounded by warmth, like those winter afternoon naps they took together when they were children. The distant shadows of the past return, trying to find the children who have grown up, find traces of the past on their faces.
As Enya of Clan Silverash, I never forgave the choice that you made. As the Saintess of Kjerag, however, I am glad that there is still something I can do. I know, it is not just the guidance of faith that Kjerag needs. Indeed, misunderstandings about faith have hindered us for too long. The changes that you brought about, the factories, the railways, the trade, and the station that watches the sky, are all things that can lead our people out of the prison of the mind. Kjerag needs change. You must not stop. What I must do is to convince the people that what is happening is not because they did anything wrong, that there is salvation from their sufferings. There is only one salvation in the minds of the people, and only one capable of carrying the burden. I must fulfill my duty as Kjerag's Saintess.
You summoned me to inform me of your decision.
Of course, I'm not asking for your opinion. You cannot stop me, nor do you have any reason to. I'll leave the matters of the 3 clans back to themselves while I'm away from the Wine Beat Court. Please make the necessary preparations to avoid any trouble. And, take care of Encia while I'm away. Don't leave her in fear.
Encia isn't a child anymore. She won't be so easily frightened. I'm more concerned about...
It's getting late, Sir Enciodas. You should go and make preparations.
Is this an order to leave?
If you've understood it, you should act on it.
As you bid. I take my leave. Enciodas bows reverently to the Saintess and exits, as he has done so many times before.
Molly, wait for me!
The ball hits the wall of the farmhouse and bounces back to the feet of the boy, who waves at the girl trying to catch up to him.
Come on, you're always so slow.
He kicks the ball several meters away. The girl grumbles and chases after it. The children are getting some rare free time. In this foothill village with only a couple of dozen households, the children whose parents are too busy to watch are playing in the center of the village. As you know, the Saintess has begun a pilgrimage for her people. This village is her final stop before she ascends the mountain. Remember what I told you. Change into clean clothes, and do not disturb the Saintess when you see her. Am I clear?
Will the Saints really be able to summon Kjerag back to us, Father? My wife is working in the city and I haven't heard from her since the disaster. People in the nearby villages say Silenciotis has put a blockade around the scene, and no one knows what is happening.
Do not worry, Bauer. This is exactly why the Saintess is embarking on her journey. Kjerag will not abandon any of her children. But all of us here in this village have already been abandoned, haven't we? None of the young folk have been willing to stay on the farm since Carl and Trade started their business. Let me tell you, if Bauer didn't go lame when he was little...
Hey, is this all you have to say when the father and I have been taking care of you since your son left for the city?
And I haven't heard a peep from him since the disaster. I'll be damned if I got anything else to say.
Alright, let's not argue in the Saintess's presence. Bauer, you should go check on old Carl. He said he wanted to catch a glimpse of the Saintess even if he had to crawl on all fours. Help me talk him out of... I see the Saintess, Father. She'll be here soon.
What? It's much sooner than I expected. Alright, let's go wait by the roadside, and right in your faces.
A few dozen villagers line the roadside, turning their faces to the distance, from whence the Saintess is approaching. The cleric averts his eyes subconsciously, nervously rubbing his palms with his fingers. He was assigned to this village by the Winebeat Court 20 years ago, and has never seen the Saintess outside of portraits. The footsteps approach. He focuses his entire attention on his facial muscles, hoping to leave a good impression on the Saintess. Bam!
Oh! Mali, you fool! Look what you've done!
What the... blast it! I forgot about you two.
Are you alright, Saintess?
Mali, come and apologize to the Saintess.
I'm sorry, Saintess. It's alright. Just a ball. It didn't hurt at all. I still have to continue the ritual. Can you go home? Are your parents here?
Saintess.
Mom and Dad died a long time ago. My home is the temple. Go home then, Father?
Go, I'll have you copying scriptures if you cause any more trouble. I deeply apologize, Saintess.
How many children like him are there in the village?
I've taken in 9. Some are orphans, while others were entrusted to me by their parents who went to the cities to find work. But we haven't heard from them since the disaster.
Saintess, do you know what's happening with the disaster? When can my wife come back?
What did I tell you, Bauer?
Has Kjerag really abandoned us?
Enough!
She would never do that. In these days of hardship, we must remember, believe, and trust that she is kind and just. I will do my best so that your prayers and the prayers of all Kjerag will be heard by her once again. Please trust me in Kjeragander's name.
By Kjerag, she will protect us and protect the Saintess.
After a moment of silence, the villagers bound their heads together behind the cleric in a gesture of reverence. They have chosen to believe. The Saintess nods and departs again. The snowy peaks in the distance await. And there we have it. There we have the clash between piety and science, between religion and science rather. People are not happy and they're obviously going to be blaming science as being one of the big factors as to what is happening with their land right now. But before I say anything anymore, we do have one new enemy to introduce here, which is the egg cradler Foul Beast. Foul beasts indigenous to Kjerag, clutching their eggs tightly with powerful claws. The eggs never drop or break. RHINE Lab Bionics researchers are studying them in the hope of developing a new type of stabilizer. Very interesting lore for RHINE Lab. But yeah, stuff is moving in front and behind the scenes, and here on this stage specifically we saw the first indication of how the politics and the other nations are exerting their influence essentially on the nation of Kjerag now that the catastrophe has happened. And there's definitely some dubious shit going on with, as again indicated by the whole scene here, with the catastrophe that came pretty much out of nowhere. There was almost no indication. Some paperwork seems to have been funneled around by the RHINE lab researcher that is currently missing together with Monk, but we'll have to keep on going with the story to figure out what the hell happened to her. But yeah, a lot of dubious shit is happening. Victoria immediately jumped in to help. I mean, they are helping, but that is obviously them extending a hand and hoping for something in return, while Colombia has interest in this place because of RHINE lab. And if something is happening with RHINE lab, of course they're going to be threatening with some kind of military presence, at least to get their people out of the danger. But yeah, a lot of stuff is happening, and then on top of that we have Enya, who is now going on another pilgrimage once again that will take quite a while to complete. I wonder if the story is gonna do actually any kind of time jumps going forward, considering that this journey for her is gonna be, like, as indicated, like 3 months, and it's a rare pilgrimage as well, because she's doing it in the middle of winter, which is not the best time of year to do it, as one might imagine. And I do love the little interaction between her and her brother there in the study hall, where he actually for the first time in, as indicated by the text as well, for the first time in forever, actually used her real name for like a split second. You can, by that little thing, you can tell, despite the fact that yes, he is the very reason why she got pushed into the position of priestess, and she will forever blame him for what he did there and how he pushed her to become the priestess, the saintess. But despite all of that, obviously he cares for her. She's family. Obviously he cares for her, and it just shows in that little split moment where he just drops his demeanor and forgets everything and just uses her name. That is such a nice little, like, touch to indicate that, yeah, he cares. Of course he cares. Of course he cares for his sister. Why wouldn't he? But yeah, their relationship is definitely one of the more strained ones. But yeah, a lot of factors are exerting their influence now here into Kjerag. I like that Harold is also obviously back. Now, how much is he gonna be present in the story and what his role in this whole thing, outside of delivering the necessary relief supplies, is gonna be a thing. We'll see again as the story is gonna progress. I love, by the way, that they actually addressed the Lisburn that we saw previously in the Lake Zilbenehatsa story, who is now actually married to a woman of Kjerag, the very same one he was that he was in love with in or started to be infatuated with in the previous story. And yeah, nice to see that they started up their family, have their own bar, and I do love the little tangent about how his father-in-law was very strict. also Lisburn having this innate, like, sixth sense for when Harold is approaching is peak. I love it. That is peak comedy. Just I feel a storm is approaching. Harold appears. And yeah, we also have a new NPC, another new NPC in the story, which is the reporter chick from Victoria, which is also very interesting. I don't presume she's gonna have any kind of very huge role herself, probably, in the story, but whatever she's gonna write in articles is gonna probably have some kind of influence on the bigger picture. I'm willing to bet that whatever she's gonna be doing in this story, as minor of a role as I feel she's gonna have, she's gonna probably dig up some shit that is happening behind the scenes, and is gonna have like a kind of like a news article up, hand in play against the forces. As the story has set it up as well, there is some stuff that is happening in the background, which is very, very suspicious, and someone is definitely having a hand in these, essentially in these protests and riots that are happening throughout Kjerag. Now, who it is and what their goal is, outside of probably trying to get people, or rather the influences that are currently in Kjerag, out of Kjerag again, we'll have to keep on going once again with the story, but that will be for next time. For now, this is where we're gonna be ending this part, and next time we're gonna continue from here and keep on going until we finish, piece by piece, part by part. So then, thank you guys very much for watching and listening. Hope you enjoyed this first part. If you did so, please consider leaving a like, it would help out a lot. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. There is much more on the channel if you just want to listen to it and enjoy Arknights stories. So go ahead and enjoy. And yeah, if you want to support me more directly, memberships are also open on the channel. Like I always say, memberships are only there for support. There will never be a video behind a membership. So thank you very much to all the members already doing so. Much appreciated. And of course, I hope you all have a fantastic day wherever you are. Enjoy the clip section, and I will see you in the next part. Until then, bye-bye. Oh, this is an interesting presentation. A rune circle or something in the middle. A weave of sorts. Buildings in a circle as well. What is this? Oh, God. Zoom in, enhance! Rivers fed by snowfelt flow ever toward Lake Zilbenehatze, nourishing the heart that never freezes. God, the text is so small when I'm on my normal distance from the monitor. Can we have this bigger, please? Jesus Christ. Arknights really has a penchant for text for ants. For some stupid reason. I wonder how small the text for this thing is for the Chinese client. Can the Chinese audience read their text normally? Is it just the American? Sorry, American. Is it just the English one? Anyway, let's see. Landslide. Nice. And she said, she with capital, henceforth you shall walk the path forward alone. This is so very close to that one sequence of sentences from Heidelin in Final Fantasy XIV. And henceforth you shall walk. Alright, let's see. Oh, I Winebead Court Elder? Winebead. Wait, wasn't that called something else? Hold on. Oh yeah, it was. Vinebear Court. Huh, so they changed it. I wonder why. Okay, so Vine... Oh god, I'm gonna probably have to put that on screen when it comes up. And I'm gonna have to remember to mention that as well in post of this cutscene when I do the commentary section. Okay, so Vinebead and Vinebear Court are the same thing. They just for some reason decided to change it. I wonder why. Huh. Okay.
Do you still hear Kjeragander's voice?
I mean, not to make light of the situation, but, and a dying old man and everything, but considering that, she's literally hanging out with her. That's kind of ironic. Hey, Ratatos. Alright, time for the fluffy siblings. Oh yeah, she was pregnant. Oh yeah, not Ratatos, of course, her sister. She was pregnant. Is that a fluffy baby? Is that a fluffy little baby? Are you an aunt now? Can I call you auntie? Anyway. There's nothing I can do for her but pray. Oh, wait.
Is it happening right now? Oh, is he gonna become a dad? That idiot's in excellent health. You remember how she sneaked out to climb Mount
Jungfrau. Mount Virgin. Actually, no, I think I'm thinking of another mountain with a very similar name in either Germany or Switzerland. Somewhere in the Alps. I think there is a mountain with a similar name. Maybe? Again, I might be thinking of something of a similar name. Anyway. Gopferdammi? Oh my god, what the fuck is that? That sounds, is that Finnish? Or is that, Oh, actually, I think I recognize what she's saying. I think she's saying god damn it, but, which language is this? Alright, so it's something from, Schweizerdeutsch. So Swiss German. But yeah, it pretty much, well, it doesn't mean god damn it, it means God may damn me. In a sense. And yeah, considering it's Swiss I keep wanting to say Swiss Deutsch. Swiss German, it's probably more than likely pronounced as Gopferdammi? I guess, cause yeah, that doesn't sound really different from what I read originally. Anyway, Swiss German. Okay, I was about to say, are you the doctor? What the fuck? Okay, it's just a guard. Spare my foolish sister. Oh! It was the birth. He's a dad now. She's legally an aunt now. Ratatos is legally an aunt now. Oh, the baby. Oh, hello, that's a RHINE Lab member. The agitated woman, that is a RHINE Lab member. Oh yeah, right, we're probably gonna get a lot of... well, I hope we're gonna get a lot of... on the RHINE Lab here as well, because RHINE Lab is building that launch pad and research center very high in the mountains as well. Right. So who are you gonna be? Hey, monk! Still not playable. After 4 years. I am actually so shocked that this woman is still not playable. What the fuck? What in the fuck?
How are they?
Oh yeah, wait, right, wasn't she with twins? I think? Right. I forgot. I actually, no, wait. Maybe I'm remembering wrongly. I think they mentioned twins before? That she's with twins? Might be misremembering, might be thinking of something else. But damn, twins! Holy shit! Twice the fluff!
We have to see Oak and Barry grow up.
Oh. Oh. Oak and Barry. Actually, I wonder if it's a boy and girl or if it's like identical twins. Run! Oh, avalanche! Avalanche! Holy shit. Whoa! The fuck did it hit just now? That's a village, or what the hell? The avalanche struck in an instant. It was the first catastrophe in history to strike this place. Oh! 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 Finally caught up with you, huh? Yeah? Yeah? Yeah, stuff is changing now. We're not anymore in the usual thing. Catastrophes will be appearing everywhere now, considering the changes in Originium and stuff like that. Oh boy.
The funeral preparations are done. Starting tomorrow, we'll... Kjerag?
Oh. Oh, she's not here. Oh. Uh-oh. Actually, I wonder now, considering this premise and everything here at the beginning, I wonder if this is gonna be finally the story where either most people or at least her here will learn about who Kjerag is. I have a dumb feeling this is gonna be also a bit of a coming out story about who she might be, considering the premise Originium being finally in the lands of Kjerag and everything. Excuse me, what am I fighting? Snow Child? Takes extra damage on colliding with high ground. What? Uh-huh. Okay. Baby snowman. Well, that's amusing, in a sense. Fluffy snowball! Becomes heavier and stronger as it absorbs snow children? Returns to initial form on colliding with high ground? What the fluffy fuck am I fighting? Huh? Kjerag is going through her absolutely I love everything cutesy phase right now, or what the fuck? What am I looking at? What is this ball of fluff? This is... Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't know if I should feel threatened or if I should squeal. What the fuck is this thing? Old lady, deal with this. How much damage does this thing do? Okay, it's not much. Well, at least I cannot judge it. This is like literally the first stage. Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Floof. Ooh. RHINE Lab Observation Station Kjerag 2 months ago. Oh, we're doing a flashback. Moo! Right, she's here. Hey, Silence in her alter form, of course. She's gonna be in this outfit from now on, right? Hey! Right. Regular RHINE Lab employees, but now in more cozy gear. Also, hey, there's the other altar. The third altar of the whole thing. Hi, Asjean. Wow. You had quite the crazy glow up with that outfit. Ooh, that's a nice panoramic picture. Ooh. Oh yeah, the city looks way more modern now. Trains and everything. Nice. Oh. Victorian reporter. Hello, lady. You are a new unique model. Alright then. Passing girl, do you need some help? Hey, Clifford.
There is no need to be burdened by the weight of religion. Liberate yourself from the systemic oppression of rules and tradition, and tell me what you truly feel.
Damn, that is not a sentence you... Ma'am, I know you're a reporter from a different land, but coming to a religious land and saying that to anyone there, no wonder people are chasing you with freaking pitchforks. Holy shit. Oh my god.
She doesn't get angry over cable cars and factories, or light bulbs and books, and she won't throw a tantrum by causing a catastrophe and taking lives.
I mean, considering the previous story, I think if someone told Kjerag, I want to turn your body into a fucking Gundam, I think she would say, holy shit, yes, can I fire missiles from my tits? So far, the only thing we've learned outside of that, yeah, she does obviously abide by her own stuff and rules and so on and so forth and protects her land. Kjerag, or Kjar, is a very big nerd. also, I've been so engrossed, but it's so nice to see Lisbeth actually married into. Lisbeth actually married into Kjerag. So he did stay here. Oh, that's kinda very wholesome. Oh god. I was thinking of this asshole. He felt his presence in his bones. He's back. The old goat is fucking back. Wow, we have so many people in this story. Holy shit, we have so many characters in this fucking story so far. Damn. Yeah, this is definitely a part 3. This is definitely a part 3 now, for the whole Kjerag storyline. Pretty much like the very recent story as well for Laterano, where we had like a fuck ton of characters as well coming in and out of the story. Damn, yeah. Okay. Oh, hi. You... Colombian ambassador, okay, makes sense. You have a unique... Well, not... Well, it is a unique model, of course, it's a completely new model, but... I was thinking unique in the terms of... you look like you could be playable. No, okay, this is a new... what's the word I'm looking for? Like a dignitary model, essentially. Office worker, almost. Who in the fuck is this? What is that face? Oh, Victorian ambassador, okay. But still... Wow. That is a jawline. Holy shit. This guy's a look-smaxer.
Or maybe the ancient people couldn't tell catastrophes from normal disasters and mix their records with others.
Ooh, that's actually a very good thought to have, right. Maybe there were catastrophes in the past, like just very rarely. Obviously because of Kjeragander's presence and everything. Yeah. Yeah, that would be an interesting idea if catastrophes did happen in the past, but people just didn't know that they were catastrophes, considering how very sheltered this region is and everything from the rest of the world.
Opinions differ on the enemy that came across the ice. As for the monster that could not be seen...
Okay, I think... Yeah, this story sounds like it's describing Originium or Ripathy. Yeah, a monster in the shape of a catastrophe. That would be wild if one of the mountains is just a giant frozen bunch of Originium that Kjeragander has been keeping in check for a long time. Long time.
The word Zorn is not hard to understand. It translates roughly to something terrifying or unknown monster.
Okay, like a short form of monster. Essentially. Or, yeah, sorta. Okay.
It comes from Old Ursin dialect spoken in Kjerag.
Ah, there we go. Okay, so interesting. Yeah, alright, so the pronunciation should be correct then. Zorn. Right, okay.
5 centuries ago, a famous playwright from County Hillock penned the word in his play.
Oh, is this from that one guy? From the guy who was penning the Taran poems and stuff? The Rose of Shah, okay.
The terrifying thing in the heart of man.
Ooh, that is an interesting depiction of it, okay.
Ooh.
Oh, I need to stretch my legs. Ah! I've been sitting for so long. Aw, look at them. Having a moment for themselves. Praying at the statue. There's so many. This is definitely a place of prayer. There's so many freaking trinkets and little candles in them and around them. Around this statue. Holy moly. So much fluff and the one ear perking out. Boop. She looks so fluffy! How did I maximize her? Or rather, how did I buff her floof even more? This code is doing some heavy lifting.